Hi everyone, welcome to your core workout. You can set your one dumbbell aside and then we're gonna begin by just warming up those deep core stabilizers. So you're gonna come up to kneeling and then your knees are gonna be about straight down from the hips. And then I want you to think about from your hip bones, like a corset with stitching up. So starting at the hip bones and then we're coming up just below the ribs. So we have everything pulling in here. We're pulling up on the lower abs pelvic floor and then the shoulders roll down. Float your hands up to about shoulder height. Palms are gonna point down and then we're going to just do these little scoops. So you're gonna take your palms up, palms down. So warming up the shoulders, the arms, and then we're also warming up those deep core stabilizers by keeping the rest of the body still. Good, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good, from here, you're gonna take your right hand, we're gonna sweep that palm up, lean to the right, and then over to the left. So we're getting these shoulder rotations. We're warming up the obliques, the deep core stabilizers, really reaching out as if someone were playing tug of war with your arms. 4, 3, 2, and one more each side. Good, come on back to center. We're gonna take the palms to point straight ahead of you. Inhale, hands up overhead. And then we're gonna exhale. Draw your elbows back behind the shoulders, just opening the chest. Good, one more time. We're gonna inhale up. And then exhale, you can circle the hands all the way down. All right, friends, grabbing our weight. Let's begin with our weight in your left hand today. So we're gonna take that left arm down by our sides and then just that right hand right up next to your head. From here, we're gonna begin elongating out through the top of the head, big inhale. As you exhale, we're gonna find this side bend. So we're gonna lean to the side, bring the shoulders up over hips, and then we're gonna do this lateral raise with the arm. So it's lean, lift, raise, and lower. Really controlled here. Try to keep both hip bones the same height, so you're not letting that right hip creep up on you as you lean to the left. And I want you to really think about keeping a long spine here. We're doing this hinge to the side. We're not bending our spine and rounding over. So I'm thinking about lengthening out through the top of my head. 4, 3, 2, and here's our last one. Good, we're gonna rotate our palms so that it points straight ahead of you, and then we're gonna take our hand down to our hip. From here, we're gonna make this really big circle up overhead, bringing the weight right over the shoulder, slowly lowering the weight down with control, and then I want you to rotate as you bring your weight up across your body. Reaching out, getting that full range of motion, keeping the shoulder down away from the ears, and then we rotate as we do this cross body serve. Think of your rotation here coming from above the belly button. So you're trying to keep your hip bones pointed straight ahead and try to keep the top of your head right over your tailbone. So think about just a rotation, not a lean. And the breath. I'm trying to give you breath cues. Make sure you're breathing here. 4 more. 3, 2. Going nice and slowly, making sure we're controlling that weight. We're not using any momentum. Good, last one here. Good, floating that arm back up overhead. From here, we're gonna take our leg out to the side. So same side as your weight. Your knee is gonna be slightly in front of your body on this diagonal. So we have an external rotation in the hip. And then keeping your shoulders over hips. We're gonna do this little lean to the side, bring the elbow to the knee. take it up, and then we're gonna look up at our weight and reach for the floor. Good, so on this lean, we wanna make sure we're not leaning with our chest. It looks like this. See how my shoulders are not in line with my hips? So I want you to think about keeping shoulders right over hips, and we're doing this side lunge. Long spine here as you rotate and lower your hand down towards the floor. 4 more. 3. 2. And last one. Good, so we're bringing the shoulders right back up over hips, and then from here, we're gonna slowly lower this weight, taking both hands down towards the floor, and then we're gonna do this twist. You're gonna take your weight up right past your chest. We're gonna look up at the weight, lower it down, and then we do this press up overhead. So we're gonna go lower, twist, lower, and press. Try to keep a nice long spine here. It's really important when we bring ourselves down to the floor right here that we're kind of reaching out so that we're able to get a nice long spine. We're not having to round. So my hand, trying to bring my hand down right under my shoulder. Four more. 3. 2. And last one. Good, so after our twist, we're gonna lower the weight all the way down to the floor. So the weight's gonna go on the floor, and then we're gonna take our leg that's out to the side, take your left knee, we're gonna go knee to knee, and then we're gonna tap it out to the side. From here, we're gonna just go knee to knee and side tap. So you're gonna really feel your core having to stabilize here. We're keeping our hips really still. We're keeping our entire torso really still, actually. Good, we're gonna add on in 4. 3. 2. And hold it out on 1. We're gonna tuck your right toes under. So toes are gonna tuck under. And then from here, I want you to lift using your core. We're gonna lift our knee off the floor. We're gonna set the knee down and then sweep it in knee to knee. So we go side, hover, knee down, knee to knee. And you can always get rid of that weight under your hand for now. Just set it close by if you don't like it. We will get that weight out again soon, so just set it to the side right here if you need to. 4. Making sure we're breathing. 3. 2. Good job, everyone. Last one. We're gonna hold that hover. So from here, shoulders down away from the ears, we're gonna just pull this weight to our hip and lower. Good, keep breathing. You can always bring that knee down if you need to. Pulling the elbows straight back. Row for 4. 3. 2. And hold on 1, little tiny pulse up. Pulse that elbow up. Good, so we're just holding this hover plank. Little pulse for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, bring the knee down, bring the weight down, and then we're gonna bring our big toes together, knees wide, and just sit it back for child's pose. Good job, you guys. Heart rate is up. So we're gonna just push our tailbone back, walk the fingertips out, feeling a nice stretch in the side body. And then we're gonna gently make our way up. We get to do the other side. So good job, you guys. We're gonna switch hands with our weight. Knees are gonna be just slightly wider than hip distance, if not straight down from the hip. So we're doing a narrow stance today, so our core really has to work. We're gonna pull up on lower abs, pelvic floor, and then we're gonna begin to stitch. So from our hip bones, we're drawing in, we're keeping the ribs closed, shoulders down, and then we're gonna take your left hand just up to the side of your head. Keep a nice long spine as we lean, bring the shoulders up over hips, and then a lateral raise. Beautiful. So I like to think about this lean as coming from right here. So you're bringing your bottom rib down towards your hip. It helps me from trying to lean with my shoulders. So just think about it coming from the waist here. Four, 3, 2, nice and slow. Last one. Beautiful. From here, we're gonna rotate your palm to point in front of you, and then we're gonna take this hand down to the hip. Making a big circle up overhead, keeping the shoulder from shrugging up towards the ears. We slowly lower down, and then we're going to do this rotation and raise. So big circle up. Make sure you don't have any points where your weight feels weightless. So we're not using any momentum. We want to make sure we're feeling resistance the entire time in both directions. And then as we rotate, we're keeping the very top of our head right over our tailbone. So it's just a rotation, it's not a bend, it's not a lean. And try to keep the hip bones pointed straight ahead. Good, 4 more. 3, 2, and here's our last one. Good, taking that arm back up overhead, we're gonna get this leg out. So you're gonna bring your knee slightly in front of your body, you have an external hip rotation, and then we're gonna keep chest or shoulders right over hips. We're gonna do this lean, elbow to knee, press it up, and then we take our gaze up, long spine as we twist. Good, so it's a little bit of a kneeling lunge. That pull down in your elbow, right here, as you lower your elbow, you're gonna feel your lats working, a little bit of inner thigh and hamstring on that lunge. And then we're working obliques and deep core as we lower and lift ourselves from the ground. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Beautiful. From here, we're going to slowly lower this weight. We're going to bring both hands down to the floor, towards the floor. The weight's gonna stay hovering, and then we're gonna find a twist. So we're gonna bring the weight right past our chest, and then we rise and press. So bringing the hands down below the shoulders, nice long spine, lengthening out through the top of the head, out through the tailbone, as you twist, and then we press it up. Good, nice and slow. So we're using our core to make our way down to the floor, and then also to get ourselves back up. Sorry, my hair is driving me crazy. 4 more. We want to try to take our twist, our weight right here. think about lifting it right over your shoulder. I noticed my weight was kind of going back behind my body and it didn't feel good on my shoulder. So try to watch for that. We want to be really precise. Good, one more. And then we're gonna bring the weight all the way down. So let's make sure the hands are under the shoulders and we're not rounding our spine. So when they're too close, right here, you get this roundness in your spine. So you wanna make sure you have a nice long spine. We're gonna take your right leg, we're gonna go knee to knee and side tap. Try to minimize any movement in the pelvis and in the spine. Side tap and in. 4. Gazes in front of your fingertips. 3, 2, and one more time. Good, let's take that leg out to the side and then we're gonna tuck the toes under on your left foot. From here, I want you to lift your knee. So think about lifting with your core as you inhale, exhale down, knee in, leg to side. So it's lift, lower, knee in, extend. And remember, if you feel like bringing your hand down off that weight, you can. If you don't feel comfortable with it under your hand. Four more. 3. So lots of shoulders and back here. 3, 2. I also really feel my quad on my supporting leg. Woo. Last one. We're gonna hold this lift. So from here, we're gonna find our balance. Make sure you're not locking your elbow, and then we're gonna pull the weight to hip and lower. Good, my arm is shaking. My leg is shaking, you got this. 4, 3, 2, and let's hold it up on one, little tiny pulse up. Little tiny pulse, try to keep your hips level, shoulders are square. Pulse for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your knee down, bring your hand down, and then we're gonna bring our big toes together, knees wide, sit back on your heels, and then just walk your hands out. Good job, everyone. Child's pose. So we're pushing our tailbone back behind us. We're lengthening out through the top of the head. Walk the fingertips out in front of you. Let's walk our hands over to the right, placing the left hand on top, and then just press your left hip back behind you. We're gonna walk back to center. Walk it over to the other side, placing one hand on top, and then just press your hip back behind you. Good, let's walk to center and slowly bring yourself up. All right, friends, we are done with our weight. You can set your weight aside, and then we're gonna come down to our back. So we're gonna lay down on the mat, and we're gonna take the legs out straight today. So straight legs. I want you to find a neutral pelvis. So we wanna make sure we're not imprinting the spine into the mat, and we're also not arching. So pretend you have a blueberry under your lower back, and you don't wanna squish it or let it roll away. We're gonna bring the hands to support the head with elbows wide. And then I want you to take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, we're gonna lift one leg. So we're going really slow, and we're making sure we're not imprinting the spine into the mat, and then we slowly lower. Other leg, lift and lower. So right away, I feel my lower abs turning on to stabilize my pelvis here as we make these big movements. So my spine and my pelvis want to move as I lift and lower. So as I lift my leg, I feel my low back wanting to press into the mat, so I'm fighting that. And then as I lower, I feel my spine wanting to arch. So I'm having to really brace in both directions. 4, 3, And last one. Good, bringing both legs down. From here, we're gonna just peel up one shoulder at a time. So we're gonna peel one shoulder. We're gonna find this twist. Bring your head back down and then peel up that opposite shoulder. So as I'm twisting, I'm trying to keep my hips really still. And I'm also thinking about elongating my spine out through the top of my head. So it's not a curl forward. We're not trying to bring our chest forward at all. It's just a twist. So think just rotate. Good, 4 more. Keep breathing. Exhale on your twist. 3, 2, and last one. Good, we're gonna do a combination. So as you twist, we're gonna bring the opposite leg up and slowly lower. Beautiful, so making sure we're not holding the breath. Inhale on your way down. Exhale, lift and twist. Four more. 3, 2, and last one. Good. From here, we're going to just lift the shoulders and the head. You're welcome to keep the head on the floor if you need to. And then we're going to take one knee. We're going to lift up to tabletop. We're going to take our second knee up, keeping that neutral spine, and then you're going to lower that first leg, lower that second leg. Good, so we're going to go tabletop, tabletop, lower, lower. So even though we have this flexion in the upper part of spine, we have this little curl, we're still keeping neutral pelvis and neutral in the bottom half of our spine. Good, let's reverse. So we're gonna take that other leg up first. Lift, down, down. Make sure you're not pushing your head forward with your hands. So the hands are just there for support. We're still lengthening out through the top of the head. Good, one more on this side. And then we're gonna hover one knee up to tabletop, hover the other knee up to tabletop, and then bring your big toes together. From here, we're gonna go external rotation, so your knees are gonna go wide. I want you to dip your toes down, lower your head, and then we lift the shoulders, lift the legs, knees together. So we're still keeping that neutral. Try not to let your spine imprint into the mat as you lift your knees here. Beautiful, 4 more, please. 3, 2, and last one. Bringing the knees back together, we're gonna flex the feet. Make sure your knees are over the hip socket or out farther away from your body. We're gonna just do this little tiny press. Good, so we're trying to keep that neutral. I know I've said it about 100 times, but that's our objective here. Good, little press for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good, you can gently bring one foot down, bring the other foot down, bring your head down, arms out to the side, and then soles of feet together, knees wide. Good, just take some big breaths here. Let your ribs expand, let your abs relax. Good, one more time, inhale through the nose, exhale out of your mouth, and then let's take the legs out long. Arms are gonna stretch up overhead. So we're just finding as much length in the body as we can. And then we're gonna slowly draw the knees in and gently rock side to side. Take your shoulders with you as you rock so you get a nice massage all the way up your back. Let's go one more to each side. And then you can slowly bring yourself up when you're ready. Great work today, everyone. That is it for our core class. I will see you next workout.